They say that third time's a charm, and I'm putting that expression to the test today because I'm returning to the Mae Sot General Hospital to see if there's a vaccination clinic going on today, and I'm hoping to get a COVID-19 booster shot. I've been to the hospital twice before, which is why this is the third time. Third time's the charm. And I have more faith in this visit because I was told last time that the clinic would be on May the 3rd, which is today, starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And someone on YouTube left a comment or sent me a message, I can't remember which, saying that they did a search in Thai on Google and they found the information that this clinic at this hospital actually has a regular schedule for when it's there and when it's operational. And they told me that it is open on the first and third Tuesday of every month in the afternoon. And that lines up with what they told me because today is the first Tuesday of May. So we got threes all over the place. It's May the 3rd, you know, the first Tuesday, and my third visit to the hospital. So we'll see what happens. An interesting thing about cities in Thailand and maybe cities all over Asia is that you get such an interesting mix. I find, like in Canada, I think cities are kind of divided between residential areas and commercial districts. But one thing I like about Asia is everything is all mixed in together. So we're in the middle of a residential area, but I'm passing all kinds of really interesting shops. Could hear angle grinder back there because there was some kind of a metal fabricating shop. You just, yeah, everywhere you look, there's something interesting to check out. There's always something going on. And you have to be on your toes now because we're moving back into the rainy season and the skies always have some rain clouds threatening. I've had quite a few fairly big thunderstorms pass through Mae Sot in the last couple of weeks, so got to make sure to bring your umbrella with you. And right off the top, I came across something interesting. It says cafe. But they have a display here that I haven't seen elsewhere. Look at that. Black coffee, black tea, green tea, Taiwan tea, fruit juice, and chrysanthemum juice. And it's all pre-prepared in these, oh yeah, those little glass bottles. Sawadee krap. This one? Yeah. Ah, okay. Comes with ice. A lot of ice. Thank you. Canada.
Wow, Canada. Oh, beautiful.
Nice place. Okay. Thank you. So I picked up some Bale fruit juice. Bael fruit juice. I don't really know what it is, to be honest. I'm gonna have to sample this. I have time to do this because I've left fairly early. The clinic doesn't open until 1 o'clock. And it's noon right now, so it doesn't even open for another hour. I just like to get places early and leave myself lots of time. So let's try some of this juice. When I first saw all those jars there, I thought, they contain some kind of a health drink, like you know, a tonic of some kind full of vitamins and minerals. It's sort of like those energy drinks that you see in convenience stores. That's what I thought they were selling, but it's actually just regular coffee and tea and juice. Yeah, but I hadn't seen a display like that before. So let's see if I can if I can recognize the flavor. I don't think so, but we'll try. No, it's not going to happen. It has flavor, and I feel like I know that flavor. Very light fruit juice kind of flavor, but I couldn't tell you what it is. It's good though, very refreshing. A light and refreshing kind of drink. And you certainly see a lot of interesting buildings everywhere you go as you walk around. I mean, you've got this place right here. See if I can walk across without getting hit. So, you know, very traditional kind of wooden building. Very interesting. And then right beside it, a monolith. Look at this. Very high white walls with quite a substantial building behind them and a big gate. And I have no idea what it could be. I mean, the most obvious thing is that it's somebody's house and they just happen to be living in a very large house. There have been a lot of interesting changes going on related to my errand today. My errand being a booster for COVID, and there have been a lot of COVID-related changes around this region. The main one is that, to my surprise, maybe to the surprise of a lot of people, Malaysia, as of May 1st, dropped most of their entry requirements and restrictions for visitors. So they used to require a test before you go, and then a test on arrival, and a certain type and level of health insurance. And you had to submit all those documents as well as your vaccine certificates to a special app. So, I mean, it was easier than before, and at least it was possible, but it was still not a walk in the park. But they've dropped most of those, so you don't need a test before you go. You don't need to take another test when you arrive, and you don't have to submit proof that you have COVID-19 health insurance either. And of course, there's no quarantine requirement either. Though the caveat here is, of course, you have to be fully vaccinated for all of that. If you're not vaccinated, not fully vaccinated, then all the old rules still apply, and you still have to do quarantine and everything else. The other big change is I saw a couple of articles saying that they're cleaning up and dusting off the immigration offices at the Friendship Bridge. There's two bridges here that go between Thailand and Myanmar. Both of them have been largely closed to ordinary people. But yeah, I was reading articles that they're getting them all cleaned up, opening the immigration booths, kind of preparing to open cross-border traffic again. And I read that's supposed to happen by this Thursday, May 5th. But that's all happening on the Thailand side. Of course, they can clean up the Thailand side, but they still have to come to an agreement with the authorities on the Myanmar side. They have to do the same over there in order for any cross-border traffic to happen. And even if they do open, I don't know what it means for foreign visitors like myself. I don't know, even if the bridges do open, whether it would be open to tourists or not. All of that still has to be figured out, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting. I saw a picture as part of the article of some cleaning crews at the bridges, and they're busy sweeping up, and you know, because all those offices have been abandoned for 2 years, more than 2 years. So a lot of birds and other animals have made themselves at home made a bit of a mess in all the buildings. Passing at the base of the main market, by the way. It's just over there to my left. So this street skirts the main market neighborhoods, which is just over there to my left. Another interesting building, a lumber yard, selling all manner of finished lumber. There's another one right across the road from it. They might be connected, you never know. Again, that just speaks to the really interesting mix you get in a place like Mae Sot, commercial and residential all mixed together. So it's always interesting to go out walking around. And I believe this is, as you walk along this road towards the hospital, you're now in one of the main Muslim neighborhood of Mae Sot. Oh, you're also in the main lumberyard district, it seems. Look at that. Another one. Ah. Huh. Reach the end of that street, and it links up with the place where I turned left, and right there is the hospital. It's only a quarter after 12. But one thing with the rainy season, you get the clouds, but you also get the wind. And when you get wind like that kicking up, it usually means rain is coming. So, might be a good thing that I came here so early. If I came right on time, I might end up getting rained on. I have to say that was a little bit of a frantic walk for me. A lot of traffic. I don't know, maybe it's just my mood today, but it just felt like cars and motorcycles and trucks are coming at me from all directions. Had my head on a swivel as I was walking along. Oh. Okay. And here in the parking lot of the General Hospital, on the left, there is the orange building with the purple tarp. And I'm told this is where the clinic takes place. There's no activity right now, but it's still pretty early. I'm so nervous. Third time's a charm. Just have to keep saying that. Well, it is definitely closed for lunch. When I was here before, you could go through this gated area. Or actually, there's another way to go in along the sidewalk. So I always like to go, if I'm somewhere early, I like to go all the way to the inside, and then the people that are there, officials, would sort of become aware of me over time. You know, they can see me sitting there, and they can start to think about what are we going to do with the foreigner when our clinic opens. I'm still just reading the clues of my environment to see if I'm in the right place or not. And it is lunchtime, so there's nobody here at all. Like every single window and office is empty. But on the positive side, I was looking at the table there behind me, and there was a box with some forms in it, and I found this form. It is in Thai, but up at the top there's a series of check boxes, and it lists all the COVID vaccines: Sinovac, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Sinopharm, Moderna. So this must be a form to fill out for some sort of a vaccination clinic. So it gives me a vague hint that something might be happening today. Dramatic change of scene here. A lot of people have been showing up, which is good. And even though it was really quite early, even at about, I don't know, 25 to 1, some staff showed up and started processing people right away. So it turned out it was not a bad idea for me to show up early, because they issued me a number. Depending on which vaccine you're going to get, they asked me, and I said that I got Pfizer before, so I assume my booster will also be Pfizer. But as I explained to them, I'm not a doctor. I was sort of relying on them to tell me. But anyway, I'm ending up with Pfizer, and they have different booklets for Pfizer and for Moderna and the other vaccines. So I said Pfizer, and now I'm number 6 in the lineup to get the shot. And then they give you a form to fill out. It's all in Thai. And I tried to use Google Translate on my camera to figure it out, and I just got gibberish for the most part. So again, a helpful staff member came over. There's one other foreigner here as well, and he doesn't speak or read Thai either. So this friendly staffer sat down with both of us and worked through the system, through the form, and told us what to fill out where. And they needed all the information, like they needed your temperature, your height, your weight, blood pressure. And they have a machine here to take your blood pressure and temperature, and there's a scale for your weight. So I filled all that out. And now, yeah, just sort of stand around or sit around and wait. And yeah, hopefully we move on from there when number 6 gets called. Oh, one other wrinkle is that I wanted to find out about the vaccine passport, because I have the international vaccine passport. When I got the initial 2 doses of Pfizer in the hospital, after that was done, then there was another system to go down to the lobby. Window number 2, I remember that, and they repeated it here. And that's where you would pay to get the vaccine passport. And it was eventually waiting for me. So I assumed they would add to my vaccine passport here automatically when I got the shot, but it doesn't work that way. They will automatically update my More Prom app, because you have to give them your, what they call your HN number, which is the number you get, that I had to get as a foreigner. It would be like your Thai ID number, which I didn't have. But when I got the vaccine, they gave me an HN number as part of More Prom, and I had to put that number on the form. And they will use that number to update my online records. And when that is done in about 2 weeks, they said, my More Prom will be updated in 2 weeks. And once that is done, I can go to the hospital, window 2, show them my More Prom app, and then they will update my international vaccine passport. Got it? So, yeah, step by step. You just work the steps, you know? So, next step is to wait until my number's called. Moving along, someone came to check on me and look at my number, and they helpfully stapled my number to my form. And when that was done, they pointed in this direction. And I didn't know what they meant, but I think I'm supposed to sit here. And there's a monk sitting beside me, and I notice his number is number 7. So he comes right after me. And the other foreigner that's here, I think he got number 5 right before me. So, I see another well-known foreigner in the lineup over there. And I did see something on this form across the top. There were some check boxes about, it seemed to be like why you qualified for the booster. And there were all these items like you're a medical professional, you're over 60 years old, you have a medical condition. And I scanned all of them using Google Translate, and of course none of them apply to me. But so far that doesn't seem to be an issue. They've sort of folded me into the system anyway. So I don't really know what that part of the form is all about. Maybe you don't need to qualify according to those check boxes. Maybe they're there just in case you fit one of those categories. I don't know. You simply kick back, relax, and let the system flow. I think I'm next, so I'm next. Oh. physics. It's kind of tight sleeve.
อันนี้ปิ้งก็ได้8 กับ 9 8 90ทิ้งไปนะ6 รอบ
Okay. Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ Nothing to it. I didn't cry or anything. Ship hope.
Thank you so much.
17 ค่ะ
ครับ
ค่ะ18ไหน
เป็นครับผม
18ก็เลย
Leaving from the clinic. There it is behind me, and check that out. Now it looks like a full-blown vaccination clinic. No mistaking what's going on there. All those people. I'm not sure how much of that whole vaccine clinic experience I captured on usable video. So, as I often do, I will kind of repeat the events of what perhaps you just saw. But yeah, the clinic worked out very well. Showed up and they gave me a number and helped me fill out the form. And what one of the many things I didn't realize along the way is that they had 2 seating areas lined up in front of 2 vaccine delivery areas, and they were different depending on which vaccine you were getting. But so when they at some point came up to me and says, "Oh, you sit over here and then you sit over there," I wasn't sure what the point was of sitting here as opposed to there. But it turns out one side was the Pfizer section, the other side was the Moderna section. So some of the other foreigners showed up, and we were all getting Pfizer apparently. And we started jokingly calling ourselves the Pfizer gang. And our Pfizer gang grew and grew as more people showed up. And the Moderna gang were getting their vaccines before us. They were cycling through a lot of Moderna people. And then at about, I don't know, 20 after 1, something like that, they brought out a tray with the Pfizer vaccine. And then our numbers started being called. And I was number 6. Someone else there, part of the Pfizer gang, was number 5, one before me. And from that point, it was a very fast process. Sit down, get the injection, get up and go. But just as with all my other vaccine experiences, and as another foreigner was pointing out there, I was walking out of the clinic with nothing. So I had no proof myself yet that I'd gotten the booster. Like, I don't have a receipt, I don't have any piece of paper, I have no document. And the main thing I'm interested in now that I have the actual booster, that's one thing, but I also need proof that I have the booster to show to officials in airports and things like that. And our proof for that is the international vaccine passport. It was kind of a funny and interesting experience for me to be part of the Pfizer gang of foreigners, because I'm usually doing all these things on my own, and it's just me asking my questions. But now there were, there really was a gang of us, 5 of us perhaps, and it was quite interesting to see us all sort of crowd around the clerk that was helping us out, the clerk that spoke English well. And this clerk was, handling the questions from all of us, because we all had the exact same question, which was, how do we update our international vaccine booklet? And one of the Pfizer gang had that reasonable concern that I've already mentioned, that we don't have any proof when we leave the clinic. Hello. So he was told exactly what I was told, that we just wait until our online records are updated And then we go to the hospital and get our passports, vaccine passports, updated. And he was saying, well, that's all well and good, but that depends on you filling out the online records properly. And how do I know you're going to do that? Like, what if I go to the hospital in 2 weeks and they pull up my records and there's nothing there? Then what do? I have no documentation. I have no proof that anything has happened. How do I prove I got the booster shot? And then they kind of went around in circles on that point, because the clerk kept saying, well, we will update your records and it will show up on your more prom and you're good to go. And he kept coming back with, well, what if you don't correctly update my records? Like, he basically wanted a piece of paper, a certificate, a document that he can leave the clinic with. And I've had that same feeling every time. And here I am, I'm out on the street, and as you can see, empty hands. I have no paper, I have no documents. But I was in a better situation than many of the others in the Pfizer gang, oddly enough. I'm usually the person that has the least idea of what is going on, but I had, investigated the More Prom app. I downloaded it, and it works for me, and I've been using it a lot, so I'm pretty familiar with the app. And the other foreigners in the Pfizer gang, they actually didn't have the More Prom app. Few of them had downloaded it to their phone, and then the one guy that had put it on his phone, for him it wouldn't load. So he was trying to show it to the clerk at the clinic, clicking on the button again and again and again. He's just like, More Prom won't even work for me. So now what do I do? So he went all the way back to his original point, which was, I don't have any proof. So I don't think he had any choice, though, but to eventually just let the system take over and hope for the best. So there you are. I have the booster shot of Pfizer, and not completely done yet, because now I have to get my international passport updated, but I have faith that that will eventually take place. But I was just saying how interesting it was to be part of the Pfizer gang, because I sort of saw this situation unfolding from the point of view of the Thai clerk, because this clerk eventually had 4 of us standing in a semicircle asking a lot of fairly intense questions. And I think just one of us standing there trying to get clarification can be kind of overwhelming. And there were 4 of us all at the same time. I just kind of tagged along to listen in while other people were asking the same questions I had asked, because I wanted to get confirmation about the things that I had been told. And as far as I could make out, everyone was being told the same thing. Your online records will be updated, More Prom will be updated, go to the hospital, window 2, and take it from there. So that's how that worked out. I have a couple of other errands to take care of on this small adventure. One is to get money, because I've run out. The ATMs have not been very kind to me lately, and when I've tried to withdraw money, they've said no, basically, and said, no money for you. And they tell me to contact my bank, implying that there's some kind of an emergency. But I've learned that that message, contact your bank, doesn't mean anything. And the fact that the ATM won't give you money is just a random quirk of the universe. Could have been the time of day, could have been the day itself, who knows? So I just have to keep returning to ATMs and trying over and over until it works. So that's what I'm going to do right now. That's my next job. See if I can summon some good luck from the universe and make the world of internet banking like me today. My favorite bank for this sort of adventure is coming up here. I guess I didn't wish hard enough because the luck of the universe didn't help me out. I was rejected again. And they always add insult to injury, because after it spits out my card and says no, then you get this big message on the screen that says all cards are welcome, you know, sort of international transactions. It says all cards welcome, but apparently all cards welcome does not include my card. So I'm heading to favorite bank number 2, and we'll try there. I'm zeroing in on ATM number 2. And if this doesn't work, then I guess I'll have to wait another couple of days to try again.
Take your cash. Please take your cash. Please take your card.
Success. For whatever reason, that bank and their ATM loves me today, whereas all the other ATMs in town, they don't. And I never know why exactly, but it doesn't matter too much when you're staying in a town like this and you can just spend the whole day going from ATM to ATM until you find one that works. Of course, you always get the situation of people that are traveling and they arrive in a brand new country and they get to the airport and then they're rejected by all the ATMs in the airport. And then unless they're traveling with a emergency stash of US dollars, then they're kind of stuck. They don't even have money to get them out of the airport. But I am happy today. I have money to keep body and soul together, at least for a little while longer. And my next errand, my next task is kind of a ridiculous one, because I've been putting together an idea to make name cards for Planet Doug. And I was just going to go to a print shop and have them do it for me, put together a mock-up on my computer and have a print shop put it together for me, but I haven't been able to track down a print shop. So what I did was I just put a bunch of name cards as if it's on in a PDF form, and I'm just going to print them out on paper, regular paper from a printer in color or whatever, and then take a pair of scissors and cut it open, cut my own cards. And I've done that in the past. I mean, all you really need is a slip of paper, with the name of your YouTube channel on it. So it doesn't have to be a fancy card, but that's what I'm here to do now. Ooh. Hear this?
Please?
Yeah, print in color print. Maybe 5? Okay. Like that. Thank you. Well, that was relatively successful. And I kind of had a burst of energy to do this because almost every day for a while, I run into someone who's seen my GoPro in my hand and they've asked me whether I post videos to YouTube. And then they want to know the name of the channel, of course. And every time, it just happened on my way when I was leaving the hospital. And every time I want to have a little card to give them, you know, with the name on it. Again, it doesn't have to be a fancy or professional card to begin with. But like I said, I just made my own. And now I have them on a piece of paper here. And I'm going to cut them up with scissors, stick them in my wallet, and then whenever anyone asks, I can just hand them one of those slips of paper. On my computer monitor, they're a very bright, cheery red with white lettering. But on the actual printout, of course, they're a little bit more sedate, kind of a rust brown red color. But as long as you can read the name at this point, I'm not that worried about it. One of the things about Malaysia that I didn't mention at the beginning of this video is that they're also dropping the rule that people have to wear a mask in public spaces. That rule, they're getting rid of it starting, I think, this month or something like that. I'm not sure. All right, heading back to Panu House, and that is the end of my small adventures for this morning. Though it's well, this afternoon, I guess, because the clinic started in the afternoon. So that's it. Shutting down. Gonna relax, get out of the sun. It's pretty hot today. And I'll see you in the next video. Fully vaccinated now with triple shots. The third time's the charm. Apparently it's true.